Welcome back, and like just about every other automotive YouTuber, Carly sent me one of their Bluetooth dongles. When they asked me if I wanted one, I said sure, but I'm gonna be honest, they sent it anyway. Oh boy. Alright, so Carly sent me their Bluetooth dongle. It looks very nice. I mean, it's all very pretty, and it's got quite a nice texture to it, but it weighs absolutely nothing and doesn't seem to be any different to every other kind of cheap diagnostics dongle as far as weight. It's just got two LEDs there and nothing else. Right, now, Carly's website says that we can do Carly coding, all right? And this is where we're supposed to be able to take advantage of our car. You can see, just like everything else with Carly, you have to pay extra for all of these features. Now, originally when Carly sent me this device, on their website it said that if you subscribe to their paid version, you would get all of those coding tools included, and I would be able to do all sorts of wonderful things to my car. Now, of course, being a Land Cruiser 200 owner, the first thing I thought was, wow, maybe I'll be able to turn off that incessant seatbelt alarm. Because when I'm driving around the property here, and sometimes when I'm off-road, I don't want the seatbelt on. If I'm just going through a gate or just going down the end of the driveway, I don't want to put the seatbelt on. But alas, by the time I got the full package unlocked by Carly, thank you very much, I appreciate it, and plugged the Carly in, they had removed those features from the paid Carly account. Not only that, it would seem to me, by looking around and from their material online and from other reviewers, most of these coding options that they have are BMW based. And I think if you had a BMW, maybe this might work well for you. Anyway, I'm gonna go plug it in now and show you what it looks like, and then I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna put it in the bin. All right, you're gonna have to excuse all of the dust and the sand and more sand, because I actually use my full drive and I'm not a prissy bloody owner who feels the need to vacuum it out every time it gets dirty. Now, the other thing is that because I've got an ultra gauge, the obdII port is already used up. So I'm gonna have to unplug that quickly. There we go. And now we can plug in our magic Carly. Okay, that way up. I don't know why Toyota put them in backwards. Everything's backwards with this obdII port. Now you can see that there is a red light and a little blue light. The blue light is, I'm assuming, Bluetooth, and the red light is probably power. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is grab my phone and open up the Carly app. Now, for some reason, when I changed phones, I don't know why, I lost the full registration for this Carly app. But I'll give you the tip. There's not that much difference. So I'm going to try and connect. Let's see what happens. Alright, well that's good. Now, it's all very pretty and has all these little animations. I mean, look at this. Connecting to the car, processing vehicle data. Really, this Carly thing is just designed for noobs that have no idea what they're doing, as far as I can see. It's really annoying that it doesn't actually display any progress bars or any percentages of reading. I mean, it's got that 2 of 3 there at the top here, but that's not really telling me what's happening, and I've got a feeling that it's just gonna sit here and not do anything. Oh no, there we go, all right. Generating vehicle insights. Now, this used car check thing, it didn't work at all with my Land Cruiser. The other features didn't work at all. Really, this is, to me, just a glorified $69 code reader from Supercrap Auto or Autobarn or Auto One or whatever, or eBay. It doesn't really tell me a lot more than what I would find out with a decent obdII reader. But let's just let it go through and scan the rest and see what it says here. I do normally get a couple of codes on the Land Cruiser. I generally get some that are related to my Richards lockup kit for the automatic gearbox. It, for some reason, sets off a ABS or traction control fault. If you're not familiar with the Richard lockup kits, I do have a video on that. And even though I have mostly solved it, it still throws codes every now and then. Man, this is taking a long time. Okay, we're up to 15%. Again, yeah, it's great that it's saying that it's done 15% of the scan, but with most scanners, it will tell you what module it's scanning and what percentage of that module it's scanning, and give you live fault numbers and issues and whatever else. I'll show you that in a minute with a decent scanner.
1 hour later.
Well, it has told me at about 25% that there was one issue found. It doesn't tell me what module it was found in. I'm sure it'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so now it's telling me to, unlock the full version if I want, reports and whatever else. Now, like I said, I did have the free version. It's obviously expired or something's gone wrong with it. Check out the free light report. Spoiler alert, the full report wasn't anything exciting. That's the other thing, is to get the report, it sends it on an email, so you have to be connected to the internet to get the report. Anyway, it's telling me that I've got ABS brake issues stored in there from the Richard lockup kit faults. You can clear it with this, that's fine. It does clear those codes, that's not an issue, so I can go ahead and do that, but I'm not going to do it on Carly because I'll show you on this other device that I'm going to pull out in a minute. Look at this, every time you try and do anything, you have to pay more money. No, I'm not satisfied. Oh my God, this is absolutely infuriating. Now, the thing is, okay, this live data is just obdII live data. There's nothing exciting at all in there. Now, when I first got this, I hadn't had the full version unlocked by Carly yet, so I tried it out. And it kept telling me that I needed the full version in order to do all of these, cool features. The thing is, once I did get the unlocked version and went to try and do some of the coding, it said that they no longer support it. So they're basically trying to get you to pay for it, and then when you do pay for it, they tell you, oh, sorry, we don't do this anymore. I mean, that's not cool. That's not cool, Carly. Don't do that. So I wasn't able to do anything with Carly that I couldn't do on my cheap scanner, all right, on my cheap, super cheap, whatever, obdII scanner. It didn't do anything particularly interesting whatsoever. I was kind of interested to see if it did. I kind of had high hopes. All these YouTubers tell us how great Carly is and how you need it to do all these really cool things. Of course, they've always got a BMW when they show you that. But for me, that didn't happen. So, what should you go and get? Let me go and get it. Okay, so what we have here is the Xtool AnyScan A30M, and as you can see, it is well used. Now, I keep this in the box. It's small enough that I can just throw it in the center console down there, and I carry it with me all the time. Now, the reason I keep it in the box is because it does have lifetime free updates, but in order to get those free updates, you need to have that all-important serial number, which I'm not going to show you. Go away. Bugger off. So, here is our Xtool A30M. Now, you can get these on eBay or AliExpress. They're slightly cheaper on AliExpress. There are a few different versions. Make sure you get the A30M because that, well, at the time I bought this one, just a little while ago, that was the better one. We've got the same sort of lights as the Carly, but we've got an extra light as well. We can actually see the data going in and out, as well as Bluetooth and power. What's really cool about this is it actually has a battery in it, and if you push these two buttons on the side concurrently or together, it actually lights up. And that makes life really easy when we're crawling around down here underneath the car. Let's get rid of this rubbish. What we can do when we're trying to put this in is we can, backwards, thanks Toyota, is we can use our light to see what we're doing. Now, of course, it's a really sunny day today, and this is not too bad a spot to get to, so it's not that hard. Now, if this wasn't backwards, you would actually see that there is a cool little voltage display up there for you, and I reckon that's just a nice touch. Now, unlike the Carly, the Xtool actually feels solid. It's got a nice bit of weight to it. It's got some buttons on it, a display, a battery. It actually looks like it does something more than just a basic obdII scanner, and that's because it does. The Xtool is a fully bi-directional scanner, and that means that you can actually do things to the car to help you diagnose problems. For example, you can turn the brake lights on and off with your phone when the Xtool is plugged into your obdII port and your phone is connected to the Xtool. Now, why would you want to do that, you say? Well, when you're trying to fix your trailer brakes or your trailer wiring and you want to test your brakes or your indicators, you can stand at the back of the trailer, push the button on your phone, and the brake lights come on the vehicle and it tests out your trailer. That's really handy because if you don't know if it's the switch or the motor or something in the computer that's faulty, you can actually tell the computer to wind the motor up and down in the window and it'll actuate that manually. You can also bleed the brakes on a Toyota with the automatic bleeding program, all sorts of really cool things. But there's more. Yes, just wait. I'm going to bring the steak knives up in a minute. Let's load it up and I'll show you some of the cool things that it does. So the software for the Xtool is called AnyScan, and it actually would work really well on an iPad. I just use it on my phone because I've always got my phone, and if I need it when I'm out and about, it's just handy. Now, we've got special functions. Unlike Carly, these special functions don't require any additional money, and they actually work. We also have some really cool things in here, by the way. There's the ABS bleeding I was talking about, and we've also got injector coding, which I haven't tried because I'm too scared and I don't know what I'm doing. But we've got BMS resets and suspension resets. I've actually used the suspension feature on a Range Rover and pumped the suspension up and down with my phone, which is pretty cool. We've got airbag resets. I've done that on Hyundais, and that works really well because Hyundais have lots of problems with their clock springs, so that's actually worked before, and you can reset all sorts of stuff. Anyway, lots of really cool things there in special functions. You also get free, apparently, lifetime updates. I've had this for a couple of years now, and they haven't let me down. Now we can go to diagnostics, and we can scan by VIN at the top, or we can pick the vehicle that we want to use. So I can manually input my VIN, and actually what's really cool about that is it has this cool keypad that comes up that only has the characters that a VIN would have in it. Notice how the O is grayed out, only the 0 is available there, and it's got the correct number so you know when it's been the right number of characters, and it actually works really well. And we've got auto scan. Now I find that the Land Cruiser 200 series VDJ doesn't like most scanners. It's probably because it's not a very common configuration of vehicle and engine, but I have used this, like I said, on various Range Rovers. I've used it on Mazdas, Hyundais, Kias, Lexus, and it's been absolutely flawless. Okay, just as I said, it's come up and said that the VIN code is not recognized, so we can input it manually. But don't despair, we don't need to actually do this. So what we can do instead is we can actually go across to Australia. No, sorry, beg your pardon, Asia, because we don't want a car made in Australia, we want the car made in Asia, and we're going to click on Toyota, and then it's going to talk to the Xtool, and then it asks us which continent we are in for our car, and I'm going to hit others, and then I can say automatic detection. And unlike the VIN detection, this actually works, but what it doesn't do is tell you what year it is. Now, that doesn't matter. We can choose from the 70 series or the 200 series, and mine's a 2014, so it's pre-facelift, which means we want to go with the 12 to 15, so we can tap that. And mine's a Barney, a Poverty Pack GX, so I don't have a smart key, so without smart key, and it's automatically detected all of these things here, and we can click OK, and boom, away we go. So we don't, even though the automatic VIN detection doesn't work, it still automatically detects the vehicle to a point, which is still far better than most other scanners when it comes to these vehicles. And you can see we've got that same ABS traction control failure. Just wait for it to scan through everything else, and you can see that it's very nicely bringing up all of the different modules in the computers and telling me what it's actually doing with a bit more detail. Might not be as pretty as Carly, but it's much more functional. Okay, so now we can go ahead and generate a report, and it'll actually be a on-screen report, which we can also email to ourselves, not just emailed. But we do have our failure over here. So we can just tap down there and it'll tell us a bit more detail about it. And it's telling us that there's an engine EV control system malfunction. Actually, that looks different to what I was thinking it was going to be. Anyway, we can diagnose this and go in and have a bit more of a deep dive into it. If we hit read trouble codes, we can then click the search button and it will go online and find some information out about that code. Interesting. Almost always caused by a poor electrical connection or a wiring harness that is damaged physically. Interesting. All right, well, we'll clear that and see if it comes back, but we haven't had any problems so far. All right, so what we can do is we can add that to the report, or we can simply go back here and we can do some actuation tests, which I was telling you about before, part of the bi-directional part of the module. We can turn on the brake lights if we wanted to. We can turn the brake warning light on. So if we go up to the dashboard here, you can see that we can now turn the light on or off. And you can see that the brake warning light has now come on the dash, and I can hit off and the brake warning light turns off. On, off. All right, so we can check and see if the globe's broken, or see if there's a sensor problem or a light problem, so on and so forth. Now we're going to go through and we're going to clear those trouble codes. All right, nice and simple. And now I'm going to go out and show you some other really cool things that we can do. So let's get down to the combination meter. This is kind of cool. I'm going to hit diagnose. This is also the warning lights, kind of where we were before, but I just want to show you some more actuation tests, which are pretty cool. We're going to do some, say, speedo test. So you want to see if the speedo is malfunctioning or whether there's a problem with the dash or the sensors or whatever. And we can say vehicle speed meter, and we can check some different speeds. We can get them both on the screen at the same time. So we can say 120, 80, 40. Pretty cool, right? Now we'll back out of here and we'll go and do some live data, because this is something I really want to show you, which is really handy for, you know, people with modern common rail and diesels. And we're going to go to live data. Now in live data we have so many different options that we can choose from, but one of the ones that you're going to be really interested in if you have a common rail diesel, especially if you have a 1VD, is your injector feedback values, and we can turn all of those on. And then we can start the car. So we'll click OK. Okay. Now if we go down and have a look on here, you can see that we have our live injector feedback values. Now these injectors have 265,000 Ks on them. One's a little bit high there, number 6, but it's not terrible. Of course, injector feedback values can also relate to, you know, poor compression or a whole bunch of other issues, but it's certainly something that you'd want to check before you bought a modern diesel. And being able to just take this in your pocket and plug it into your phone and check a diesel, what a great thing you can do. Some of the other cool live data that we can do, oh man, there's just, take your pick. You can monitor just about anything you wanted. Time after DTC cleared, this is a really good one. So it'll tell you when they cleared the computer last. They're trying to sell you a dodgy car. You know, you've got EGR and all sorts of stuff in here. We've got engine speed of all your cylinders. Now, where this comes in handy, and an average of all cylinders, this actually comes in handy to do a virtual compression test, which this actually supports. It's one of the features that you can do with this, is a virtual compression test. And basically what it'll do is cut the fuel to the engine or the ignition, depending on whether it's petrol, diesel or whatever. You'll turn the engine over and it'll actually see the speed of each cylinder and how long it takes for each cylinder to turn over basically, and it'll tell you if one of the cylinders is really way out on compression because it will be faster or slower than all of the other cylinders. So lots of really cool features in this thing anyway. Alrighty, so I thought I'd just look this up for you. A30Ms, 317. If you shop around, you can get, there you go, look, $289. It's an A30M by the look of it. Oh, and look at the discount code on there at the moment. Geez, I need to buy another one. $57 off there at the moment. So, you know, you could get that for just over $200 if you had that same. Wow, that's really cool. Anyway, $280, $290 or less if you get discounts with free lifetime, I don't know how long lifetime will be, but free lifetime updates. Man, why wouldn't you go with it? Like compared to something like the Carly. If you've used the Carly or you have a Carly and you don't like it or you do like it or you think I'm wrong, write a comment down below. If you've got something like this that's better, comment down below. Tell us what you've got. Tell us what you reckon everyone else should be using. If you got one of these, let me know. I'd like to hear what you think about it as well. Write the comments. It helps the videos out. It makes my channel more better and gooder and stuff. And once you've commented down the bottom to help me out, because that really helps. That helps out just about more than liking it. Then you can like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and all that other bullshit. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.